Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict. Sorry I missed you guys yesterday, but I'm back and it's good to be back, Eric, joined by Eric Shamalov. And here we are. Uh, I guess a lot to talk about for sure. Macro land, commodity land, and commodities are going on tilt. Silver traded over 120 last night. Gold got up to 5,600. Forget 5,000. We're at 56. We're at 5,600, up 27% for the month, and silver is up almost 70% for the month. And lagging behind, but also performing well right now is oil. Again, a lot of these markets, I call them story markets. So, story in oil is story in oil is that we're going to bomb Iran. I don't know. This has been the longest bombing thing I've ever seen. Like, either we're going to do it or we're not, or are we going to taco and then not taco? And where's the Canadian 100% tariffs? He forgot about that. I think he's like forgetting what he's saying. He's saying so much stuff. But either way, it's very, very interesting. And I sent this to you the other day, 2 days ago. The notional value of SLV trading in the day traded more than the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both. Okay, so more people are interested in gold and silver than the stock market, than in traditional investing, and that I didn't see the stats from yesterday, but it has to be the case because E-mini volume was at zero yesterday. So everybody is focused on this. No, Jane and Ken have moved on to trade this because the edges are so much better in this market because it's moving percents and percents and percents. So think about it. They've made billions and billions and billions of dollars in the US equity market that last year was up 16. Already gold is up 26 and silver is up 70. So can you imagine how much money they're stripping out of that market? It's got
Oh
to
yeah,
be epic. I mean,
yeah.
the silver ETF averages 10 million shares a day before November. It's now traded 450 million shares in one day. In one day. So all of the action is there. Everybody's in it. I'm out to dinner. People are buying gold, silver coins at dinner, like on an online site, paying like 10% premiums to get them. Um, there's an insatiable appetite, and we talk parabolic now. I mean, listen, this has got to be so much more than even parabolic, and I'm not ever suggesting to stand in front of it by selling like outright. The way I would stand in front of it, if you think it may reverse, is by basically buying options or buying option spreads, because the best thing about options is your risk is defined. We see a lot of that. We're doing some of that. There's a lot of premium. I mean, but the move in gold, I mean, it's up $200 plus from the close um, on the close of the other day, yesterday. And you said to me you haven't seen uh, like an up 200 move or up 250 move like ever. I mean, obviously it doesn't mean as much now, but it's it's still extensive because silver was only a $30 instrument less than a year ago. So now it's it's 100 plus. So on a percentage basis, the move isn't as much. So yeah,
For me, I'm looking at gold, and even though I've been very bullish on it, I think at this point, right now, it's uninvestable. And you mentioned Jen and Kane. and Jen and Ken. Sorry,
No,
uh,
Ken and Jane. Ken and
Ken
Jane.
and Jane. Ken and Jane. I love that. Ken and Jane. That's Ken Griffin and Jane Street. Yeah, this is their Super Bowl. You know, the bid asks you were talking about with me yesterday are incredible. You see it in the futures market. You see it. You definitely see it in the options market. It's uninvestable. You could be right on gold in the long term, and you get in here, and you could find yourself easily down 10% on your position. So I do not recommend jumping in here. Ignore the hype. Just wait, and I think everybody will be able to get in at better prices, much better
But,
prices.
but you always say you're always saying that, but it makes no sense to me how you say that. So I'll just say this, okay? You said this 2 days ago on the podcast, okay? And I'm not saying right or wrong. Gold is up 500 points in the last 2 days. Okay. So you're saying it's not investable and not to get in. So we ran 500 points in 2 days and 1,200 points in 5 days. Okay. Which is ridiculous. So when you suggest to get in, what are you going to buy the falling knife when it starts to come in? Like, I'm trying to understand. So let's talk levels. The thing is at 5,600. Till 2 days ago, it never traded above 5,000 ever in the history of gold. Okay. Now it's 5,600. What level could you possibly think is okay to buy? What are you going to buy? A $200 dip? You'll get killed, destroyed. I mean, I'm trying to understand the level. So just tell
Uh,
me
two hundred
on a
dollar a $200 dip is not what it used to be. That's only 5%, so less.
4%, but yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
So
So, you
maybe
know,
500. I think
oh,
we'll
dude, you're going to get wiped out. I am suggesting here, okay, if you buy, okay, listen, if you buy down 400 or 300 and you trade it to make 20 bucks or 30 bucks, maybe then you could be okay. But if you buy it down 500 or whatever it is when it comes in and you sit in it, you're going to get killed. Just killed. I'm just telling you. It's not coming in when it comes in, it's not coming in 500. It could come in 20% easily. Dude, you're not, I mean, listen. I don't see you respecting it. The other day we were trading silver. Silver came in 17%, 17% in 2 hours. So people got wounded. Okay. And I'm suggesting you're a better buyer of strength. Like right now, the market is probably a better buy if you're scalping it because every time it dips down a little, it goes significantly higher. When that trend changes, it's going to change fast. And, listen, I was going to say we've been doing it for 40 plus years, but I've been doing it for 40 years. You've been doing it for 15. Okay. I've seen many, many markets. Not this could be the most parabolic, silver, but we've seen stocks do this. We've seen everything do this. On the way down is where you got to get out of the way. Now, yeah, it'll be tradable, but you can't buy it and sit in it for a day or two. You'll get wiped out. You could get wiped out. So after Gold's up 28% for the month, 100% in 1 year. Silver is up 300% in 1 year. I mean, I don't see how you can buy a five. I mean, you can do anything you want, but I don't think it's the kind of market that's going to come in five and then just like reverse and go to a high. I mean, we're at levels. These levels are untouched. Okay. I mean, 3 days ago, we weren't above 4,900. Okay. Now we're 700 points higher. That's 15%. So, how could a dip of 4% be okay? That's all I'm saying. I mean, again, it may be, and you may be right. I don't know. But, when a market runs 20%, you know, yes, you can buy and sell and scalp the way we do. But, to go home long a position, If we come into, I don't know, you're saying 5,300. I mean, we could blip down below 5,000 in a heartbeat. And
I don't know
then
where I don't know where you got 4% from, but I'm looking for like
you just said 200 points.
no, no, I'm looking for about a 10% correction in metals.
And you
In
think if we have a 10% correction with the retail speculation and everything that we have here, you're
well,
going to buy that and it's
the reason I'm looking for the correction is because the retail speculation is now in the game. So
you
that's
just think now. Wait a second. You just think now, like
yeah,
now? Okay. And it
yeah.
wasn't there last week or the week before when we
It was
were
there.
setting record volumes on a daily. You
Well,
were actually
you you
you were actually coming on the show,
mhm.
okay, less than a week ago telling me there were outflows. Literally, some data was
Yeah,
showing you
yeah.
outflows. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Dude, would you agree there are not outflows in
I'll give
silver?
you Bloomberg's phone number. You can argue facts with them if you want.
Listen, there is massive inflows, the biggest we've ever seen. Okay. I don't care what any data is showing you.
I
You
know you
even
don't.
you hear it on TV, you hear it on TV, you hear it everywhere. Retail's buying this, retail's in a big way. Listen, the price wouldn't be up 60% in a month if there was outflows. Come on. I mean, there's never been a market in history that had outflows that was up 60%. Okay. So I'm not going to argue it, but, we'll leave it for.
I think there's a bigger issue. I mean, you attribute this entire. Are you attributing the entire move up in gold and silver?
I'm attributing the last 3 weeks to 4 weeks in silver from a price of $75 to $125. Yes, massive retail.
Okay,
Eric,
so let's
who
run
is it?
with that. Okay,
Hold on. We traded 10.4 million zero DTEs on Monday. Who do you think that is? Who could that be?
all right. So let's run with that. Let's say that's true. Just for argument's sake, let's say that's true. But the move from $30 silver to 75, was that institutional? Was that? Do you think that was a
It
sea
really
change?
ran from 30 to 60, and that took literally a while. Okay. And it was, I would say it was slight retail. Okay. Starting to get in a little bit. Like the buyer started at 40, 40. At 40, 45 through the high. And now, listen, you can't listen. We only
Okay,
have a half an
let's
listen,
just
we
take
only
one
have a
thing.
half an hour.
Let's just
Listen,
take one thing at a time.
I'm
So,
taking it. I'm
all right, so
taking the
moving
volume.
30 to 70 was slight retail. So then most of that was institutional, right? By default.
I don't, you know what? It was probably retail, some institutional, some users of the commodity, probably because, like you said, they're using it in motherboards for chips. They're using it. So yeah, so that inherent demand probably sent it up a little. But Eric, if we look back 3 months, Thomas, go back 6 months on zero DTE and SLV. Okay. If we go back 6 months, zero DTE and SLV, I'll bet you we don't even see 100,000 for the whole day. We did 4.8 million contracts in one day. We've been doing well over a million plus every single day. Okay, that's not institutional, doesn't even have enough money to do that or get that concentrated. The fingerprint or the footprint of retail or this meme world is the volume, the massive out of the money call buying, you know, the massive option buying, the massive underlying, index buying. And then what happens on top of that, believe it or not, is Ken and Jane come in and they see 800 buyers and they just buy it up and jam it up everybody's butt. And then
So
there's something.
so you are basically admitting that the start of the rally was fundamentally based, right?
I'm not saying it's not fundamentally based. I'm saying that took
Okay.
A
At least
year.
you get that. At
Time
least
out, time out, time out. Dude, listen, this argument, I love you. I only have 30 minutes today, so I want to get to other things, but this argument's dumb. Okay, it's a dumb argument.
all
Okay, you have a commodity that went from 65 to 125 in a month, and you think that that's institutional buying. Well, how come there was institutional buying? Timeout. There was
not what I'm
institutional.
saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like every other trend in the history of finance, it starts off completely based on fundamentals, completely based on a sea change in trend.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe
Retail,
hold on.
and retail notices
No.
and jacks it up even more. That's not a
No,
reason to get.
maybe time out. Maybe in your textbook that you read in college, okay?
I never read
All
that
of
in.
that time out, Eric. Time out. All of that stuff is out the window. Out the window. Okay? It's out the window. It has zero to do with this has zero to do with fundamentals. If you think silver being up 5% every day has to do with fundamentals, you uh, whatever. Okay, you're right. Okay? Except okay, let me ask you this. If
I'm
bonds
not
go up,
saying
time out. Can you let me talk just for a second and don't roll your eyes, dude? Everyone sees every time I talk, you roll. Stop rolling your eyes, dude. It's
I
okay.
can't help it, man.
I mean, it's okay, dude.
Like,
What I'm
when you say
stating,
stuff
what
that
I'm
is
stating,
outlandish,
you're
that's the
telling us.
natural
Listen,
reaction.
let's back up. Let's back up. Okay, for the last week and a half, you're telling me and everyone listening that there's outflows in silver. That literally, that's what you're telling us. Okay, okay, that cannot be correct. I'm not going to even debate it. It cannot be correct. The volumes are showing you that. Okay, okay.
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 And
And then
what's the
you're saying this is a fundamental move, like from 60 to 120 in 7 days. You think is a fundamental move.
I
Okay.
did not
This
say
is
that.
mean.
I said
This
Tron.
is something when you went to college. Just let me talk. Give me 60 seconds and then you can just jump all over me. Okay. You went to college, you read a textbook, it told you some formulaic thing of why things are doing whatever they're doing. You could take that thing and throw it out the window. It's meaningless. Okay. When they get a hold of this, okay, let me ask you this. They were buying GameStop like it was no tomorrow, up to $700 a share. This is pre split, whatever. It has no earnings. It made no money, but the stock went from $10 to 700. What do you think that is? That's retail mania. That's what they made up a term called meme. They've turned silver into a meme. Silver is just a meme. And you know what's the meme before that? Bitcoin. And guess what happened to Bitcoin? It's no longer a meme. Everyone took their money out of Bitcoin and bought silver. Nobody's in Bitcoin. Nobody's even talking about it. So what all I'm stating to you is this is a mania. This will end. This is going to end worse than Bitcoin. Okay. And I know people are on going, oh, yeah, you said in Bitcoin and it took 3 months or whatever. This might be quicker, but it's going to end in tears. And you cannot, I mean, listen, for as a trader, the way we trade, you know, um, the way we trade, we can make money long and short in this move, you know. But when it does break, it's going to break like Bitcoin, where Bitcoin came in 40% from the high. This went up so much more than Bitcoin in a quicker way. It could come in more. That's all I'm saying is to be careful. Okay. You want to be careful buying down three. Dude, if we go from up on the day today in gold, which we're up 200 and change, if we go down on the day, that's more than 5%, and that's easily possible today. Easily possible. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's certainly possible. We were there yesterday. You're talking about one day. No, you're not. You're talking about a 1 day move.
Okay.
No,
All
I'm just
right.
saying. I'm looking at my screen. It's up 4%. Guess what? Guess what gold was up yesterday?
Dude, you said you're gonna talk for a minute. It's
I
been like
just
five.
want to know what you think gold was up yesterday.
It was up. What? It was like 350. I don't even remember. These numbers are flying around like crazy. It's like
Right. So then how can you buy a dip down? Like, listen, I'm not suggesting not, I'm just trying to get our audience and the people that are watching us in sync, okay, with a pure plan to do this, okay? And the pure plan cannot be buying a dip down 5%. If we go down 5%, we're going to go down a lot more than 5%. You saw silver drop. What if you bought silver on a 5% dip the other day? You'd be down 12% in one day. You can't
Correct.
do that,
Yeah, I'm not
So
talking about
anyway, I
silver.
don't want to talk about this anymore unless you do. Um, Thomas
All I
sent me
got from
something that I
At
can't
least
make
I
out.
got from
What is
you
it?
that
Average
that this
volume,
whole move
the
started in
number. Not a
fundamentals.
chart.
At least we got that.
What?
At least I got from you that this whole move at least started in fundamentals, and you know it's a long term trend, Larry. It's not. I have a question
Okay.
for you actually. I want to go back to the year 2000. You were trading, right?
Hmm.
And gold started to go up. What were you doing then? I mean, from the year 2000 to 2012, gold went up.
Gold?
Gold went up almost 600%. Like, what was
I
your
probably, I probably never traded it. Maybe very little. Gold is not like a big part of my arsenal of what I do. It's very, very hard to understand. Okay. Again, I want to get off this topic, but I like markets that I can kind of sink a clue into what one market is doing to move another market. Okay. Like I'm looking at US equities today. I see, we had mixed numbers last night. Okay. But the biggest company in Germany, SAP, had the worst number in history. Okay. Which is showing the effects why Oracle is down so much. And their market is down 1% and change. And that leads me to a clue that maybe our tech sector into Apple's numbers today are going to trade a little bit heavier than would be in general. And I'm picking up on something which we talk about. The Ken and Jane show with a couple of other guys are buying Dow, leaving Nasdaq and buying S&P, and S&P is outperforming Nasdaq today. And I don't know if that'll stay for an hour or 2 hours, but that is something you pick up on. Okay. But I'm looking at that. But from 2000 to 2000, I would tell you this, okay, because you're a gold bug or whatever, you love gold. I would tell you that if you think gold went up 600% from 2000 to 2012, which I don't know, that sounds like,
thereabout? Yeah, thereabout.
but
Yeah,
that's a lot of time, Eric. That's 12 years.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. So what I'm saying to you is nobody talked about gold during that entire time. Okay, nobody. It
That's
wasn't it wasn't. I wasn't going out to dinner with any friends, and they were talking about gold or even silver or anything. Um,
That's
you know.
actually interesting. That's actually very interesting. That
Okay.
nobody was talking about it, even though that was
Dude,
basically
I can't get a day by that I'm not getting texts 3 or 4 times about silver coins and I'm buying silver and you got to buy this silver mine. And you talk about it, but let's back up. And it really reminds me a lot of my grandparents, who were the most amazing people. But my grandmother used to trade a retail account in the 1980s and 90s off of FNN before they even had CNBC. So she was legendary. But I'll tell you a quick story, okay? And the money back then wasn't like the money is now. If you were a millionaire back then, $1 million, you were rich. Okay. Rich, rich, rich in the 80s. Rich. Average salaries were 30 grand, a different world. Okay. So I will tell you that my grandparents got caught up in the 80s buying gold coins and silver coins. Okay. Gold was the hottest thing. Everyone was talking about it like now. And guess what happened? Just guess what happened? It didn't go down. Guess what happened?
what happened.
They got wiped out. Wiped out. Okay. The thing went down 90% or whatever. And the coins, what's happening now is the same thing. So people are out there buying silver 2 ounce coins paying 127 cash price when the cash price is at 117. Okay. So they're paying 10, 15% VIGs in some case, and some scammers are even getting more VIG. This is very reminiscent to that period of time. And this ends really badly, really badly. I'm not saying it's ending today or when it's ending, but this is, I mean, this is, you talk about fundamentals. This has zero to do with fundamentals. I mean, zero. What fundamental is driving it up 10% in 2 days? There's none.
No, and 10% in 2 days. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is why I think it's uninvestable at right now, given the situation, given the anecdotes you say people are buying silver coins at the dinner table.
Oh, I
That's
watched it. I watched it live. I
yeah,
watched
that's
it
that's
live.
crazy behavior. But I disagree that this is all retail. As an
Okay.
example,
Well, I'm
Tether.
not saying it's not, listen to me. I'm saying it's not investable. Dude, listen, if your institutions, Eric, which you say they were buying it from 25 to 45, okay? Why would they be buying it now? They made it's a career trade in 2 months. You sell it, you step to the side, and you reevaluate. There's got to be, listen, the meme mentality never sells. They want silver to go to 500, 1,000, 2,000, and they want it to go higher than gold, okay? Because the memers are long, okay? They're long odd lots. Okay. They need massive moves. They're in what you're saying, micro minis and one option contracted $1,000. Okay. But there's millions of them. So you can't beat them. And then the guys at Jane and the other firms know everybody's buying. Let me ask you a question. Okay. This is a side story. Okay. I was a specialist on the floor. So basically, I was what these guys are supposed to be, a market maker, making markets in a security, bids and offers, providing liquidity with none of these in front of me, and there's windows on the machine, and the window 10 buy orders coming. What do I do? Okay, what would you do? You're the specialist. You see 10 buy orders. What do you do?
I don't know. Try to match them up with some sell orders.
There are no sell
Oh,
orders.
just buy orders.
You're the only sell order. There are no sell orders. They're all buys. My machine is lit up with all buys. What do you think happens?
Price goes up.
As we used to say on the floor, and we used to stay on the floor, blow it up. And we would just blow the market up and just freaking take it up, fulfill all the buy orders, whatever, get everybody executed. Same thing on the sell side. Now, Ken and Jane are seeing this before me and you. We don't know what's in the pipe, but they do. They know what's in the pipe. So if they have 500 buy orders in SLV, what do you think they're doing? Do you think they're selling SLV? I'm just
They're
wondering what
trying.
you think.
They're getting right in front of that, and
And jamming it up. So that's why this is an inefficient market and can go up or down so much more than what it should do in real life of a commodity, where you say fundamentals. There's no fundamentals. Right now, if they get an inflow of 500 buy orders, what do you think they do? They're not selling it, they're buying it and jamming it. That's the whole meme mentality. They get these guys on their side, okay, and they jam it up. And the reason why this happens was because in GameStop years ago, they thought, these very big, hedge fund guys that are extremely successful, like Dave Plotkin and a lot of these guys who had 5, 10, 20 billion under management, they're looking at GameStop going, this fundamentally is going out of business. It's not even real, right? They're selling everything. They're like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. And guess what? They learned the lesson that now everybody knows, that the retail army is so much bigger than the hedge fund mafia. So the hedge fund mafia used to be Citadel, Gabe Plotkin, Cohn, all the smart guys in the room that were really, really smart were valuing companies at certain levels. And then what was happening was the memers came in and gammatized them, got them short all kinds of options, and jammed the stock up. So what's happened since GameStop, where Citadel was out of business on the morning that they basically shut Robinhood down from buying, okay, basically said, we're no longer selling. When we see retail coming, we're buying. We're going to just help them out. So that's what's happened here. And then, market makers are in there selling options. So, like when I sell options as a market maker, you know what I have to do when they start going against me? You trade, I have to buy stock. So, this is self fulfilling. So, like silver's Dude, silver could go to 125 today. It could go anywhere. It just depends on, it's not an expiration day today, so it's going to be harder to jam it, but it could go anywhere. Right now it's back to 120. It could go anywhere. This is not
You go
fundamental.
anywhere. That's right. That's why I'm saying it's a little bit uninvestable right now because
100%, but you
when you
can't
think
buy.
about gold, you're thinking about store of value. You're thinking about, well, do I buy gold? And I think the whole world is thinking, do I buy gold or do I keep buying treasuries? I think that thought is in there. But whatever. The point is that it's
Eric, it's
a
up
store of
30% for
value.
the
It's
month.
a store of value. So when you have volatility like this, it loses that store of value component, which makes it a little bit uninvestable right
No,
now.
I don't.
It'll
I
be
listen.
uninvestable again.
I don't want to talk about it because we got lucky. We talked a little bit about the equity market and basically the earnings in SAP. We had mixed earnings. Microsoft bad.
But we should talk about it. This is what everybody is looking at right now. The whole
I
world.
understand. I understand.
We
But
should talk about it.
we're on different. Listen, we're on. To be honest with you, we're on different planes in the sense that like you think there's going to be a tradable dip. Okay. Now, listen, if you're going to trade it for 15 minutes, I suggest that's okay, maybe if you use a tight stop. But when this thing unwinds, 5% is a joke, 10% is a joke, a literal joke. And you know how you know that? Look at the option premiums. Okay. Like today, gold's up 200. My March options will probably be flat to up. Okay. So what is that telling you? I
Volatility.
mean, and those options are 20% out of the money,
Yep.
25% out of the money. Okay. But that's where we were 2 weeks ago. That's why this is very, very difficult. But you can trade it with options, do spreads. I know a lot of people watching today are trading the silver ETF versus, zero DTE or 1 day options. The problem doing options today for Friday, just for people out there, silver could go up massively today, and those options will come in, but they will not come in enough. On zero DTE day, on a day where it's option X, and they expire, then you could get, you could get, that premium decay. But right now, you cannot. So it's very, very, it's tough to hedge. It's interesting. Silver actually went higher here, and gold went down about $70, and silver is touching, the high of
Yep.
the night. So, and
Silver's
to
been
be honest with you, gold is crazy. Gold is crazy, but silver is off the chart, off the chart crazy. But you know, I want to wrap in about 7 minutes because I have to run to a meeting. But
how right was the option? How right were the SPX straddles going into that FOMC meeting yesterday? That
I didn't
was
see that. I wasn't involved yesterday. I had a webinar I was filming, but I didn't see where the straddle was.
it was like at 30 right at the open, and the market didn't do anything. That was one of the biggest duds for an FOMC meeting I've ever heard. And my takeaway from that was actually he was hawkish. That was my takeaway. he was because he was so comfortable. I feel like the Fed is comfortable right now. I think they called it sanguine on CNBC. Um, but I just feel like they're comfortable with where GDP is. They're talking about jobs market stabilizing.
I got to
So
say this, okay? And we've been like on two opposite sides of the magnet or the pendulum today. Like you're saying, they're comfortable with whatever the numbers are. I actually believe not only are they comfortable, they no one cares about one number, Eric. Like today at 8:30, I didn't even ask Thomas what comes out today, if there are any numbers. Nobody cares about a number because everybody knows it's fake numbers. They know it's Trump numbers. You know, these are Trump numbers. Okay, they're numbers to basically keep everything copacetic. Not throw wrinkles in. And I'll be honest with you. Okay, it's not going to protect him in the midterms. And, we're going to, for the next few months, for sure, up into the midterms, we're going to keep an eye on poly market and all these other, defined outcomes to see if this stuff is changing and what kind of money is being bet to see if we know the answer. And, you know, I just think the numbers don't matter. I think the bluster that he's coming up with, Eric, doesn't matter the way it did months and months ago, like at the beginning. He could say today the other day, out of nowhere, he ripped up the South Korean trade deal. That was the one he touted the most. That was the first deal. Okay. He just ripped it up. Like, what is that? He doesn't
by the
like
way,
what he
South Korea, that's interesting. South Korea's stock market, the Kospi, took over the DAX. Actually, I thought that was rather interesting. I think it's like now you got to watch South Korea as the proxy for AI.
dude. You know what's funny? Dude, you're making me laugh. You're awesome today.
Well,
You're
good.
awesome.
You know.
AI. AI isn't even silver's the buzzword, dude. AI is like not out. Like AI isn't even real. Okay, AI. Like, who's talking about AI right now? No
You
one.
know what? You just reminded me of that business idea I had with you. So I wanted to create like this action figure of you with AI built in, plugged
What do you
into
mean?
your.
I'm all over. You want me
But
to
it's
show my AI on the
you don't
air?
get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. It's plugged into your brokerage account. So every time you make a good trade, the AI says whatever, you know,
Listen,
things like that.
that's awesome. Let me tell you this:
We got to
the
work on
the
that
the
one.
trading accounts at Robinhood and all these firms. Listen to this. You're the trophy generation. Like when you played Little League, like if you sucked in Little League, you got nothing. You were benched. You didn't even play innings. Okay, they're like, oh, there's Johnny at the end of the bench. We forgot to put him in for the nine. Now, like I coach my kids. You have to play kids a certain amount of time. You have to give everyone a trophy. Like this is the generation that is you don't need to work, you can gamble, okay? And when you're gambling, they're serving you drinks. Dude, you buy at Robinhood, confetti comes out. If you buy silver today, confetti comes out when you buy. The whole screen lights up, lights are going on. What is this, a casino? It is. Is this a
Yeah,
casino?
yeah.
Come on. And
It's
and the SEC is asleep at the switch, okay, for what's going on.
what are they
Okay.
supposed to do? What's illegal about everybody participating in this?
Who said it's illegal? I just said it's
What
gambling.
are they
I didn't
supposed to do?
gambling
The SEC,
gambling is legal now. Okay.
I'm saying.
But listen, I always say this, but can I go in today and perform surgery on someone?
No.
Probably not. I'd probably kill them or something would go wrong because I don't know what I'm doing. So why is it this easy to trade in a profession that's really truly professional, okay, and make fortunes of money? And my kids are saying I'm an idiot. They're like, "You're an idiot. You don't know anything." I'm
Well,
like, "Okay, whatever you say."
easy because people think it's easy because it the advent of retail participation coincided with a market that has just been melting up because of AI and because of the concept.
Disagree. Disagree. I think retail makes the market. Okay. Retail was all over Bitcoin for over a year when Trump was coming into office. They bought like insane amounts. It ran all the way up to 130. Then they couldn't get it to go up. And they, excuse the language, shit on each other to get out down 40%. Okay. They took everyone is taking everything out of Bitcoin. Your boy Jordy is telling people to take all their money out of Bitcoin now and buy silver. Okay? Honestly. Okay? That is crazy because they got in at the top. Why are you rolling your eyes? I'll send you I'm going to send the video, okay?
Yeah, I'll watch it. I
With
didn't know.
Pagliano, okay?
I didn't know.
Pagliano, baby,
Yeah, I
okay?
didn't know. I doubt that he's saying
He
take your money
did.
out of Bitcoin and put it into
Well, how
silver.
could you buy both? You don't have the money. You have all your money in Bitcoin. So you have to take, dude, he 100% said it. Okay. That's the, and that's the meme community. Okay. Of all these young guys. Okay. But that's what's going to happen. They're going to take silver hostage until they run out of steam. And then it's last man standing. You want to get out before it craters, you know? I mean, silver is one, since we've been on the air, it's just run 2%. 121 on silver. There is, dude, silver could go to 130 today, 140. You think that has anything to do with fundamentals? I'm just trying to understand. Or is that a frenzy?
Yeah, I didn't say it has anything to do with
And
fundamentals.
the thing is, the market, like the CFTC and the SEC, should certainly be looking at this, okay? Because it's literally should be closing only, okay? This is a takeover of a raw commodity, dude. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to go in 3 minutes. So we have 3 minutes, but it doesn't matter if this is silver or dog shit. It doesn't matter. It could this could actually be a piece of dog shit. Okay. And they're all in it and they don't care and they want to buy it. And over the weekend, I'm gonna get 500 calls. I bought silver at 113, it's 130 or 125. To be upfront, I don't even have a position in silver, not one contract, not one anything. Okay. I've been in it. I caught it decently and then I got caught all through options. Okay. But right now it's just a frenzy. It's a literal frenzy. And now, since we got here, silver was 117, gold was trading at 55.50, and gold's still at 55.50, and silver's almost 122, up 8-10% in a day. What is this? I'm just trying to understand what is it?
What is it? It is what it is, dude. It's a frenzy. You know it is, but it's that doesn't negate, I think, the long term situation.
What's the law?
Get
Okay,
in,
silver
don't
timeout, timeout, timeout,
get in
timeout,
now, but get in.
timeout. And then I gotta go because this conversation is so crazy sideways that it is what it is. I get that, but silver, I'm gonna go to it right now, not including today, is up. Holy cow. Holy cow, my brother. It is up 70% for the month. In the history of basically almost any commodity, no commodity has ever been up 70% in a month.
I
Okay.
got to take a look at cocoa. I think cocoa may have come
I
close. I
don't
think.
think so. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you is up 70% for the month. That has zero to do with fundamentals. It has zero to do with anything. This is a meme takeover, okay, of a commodity. And that what I'm saying to you, and then I'm gonna wrap up here. And I know we spent a lot on silver and gold, but silver and gold today will trade more than the S&P. 100% more volume, which is got to be all. It's not retail. What do you think it is?
I didn't say it's not retail.
Okay, so it's all
Now,
retail.
right now, I just don't think it was retail.
Bro, it
Nobody.
went up 80% in 2 years. Okay. And then it went up 400% in 2 months. I mean, come on, dude. Anyway, I'm going. S&P looks weak. Nasdaq looks even weaker. Look for Apple to miss tonight. There may be some good setups. Look for your inbox today. I'm probably going to do a trade on Apple puts. Anyway, everyone have a great day today. Watch out for the silver boogeyman. Talk to you guys later.